Good morning, students. From your first flight book, we are doing chapter number 5, The Hundred Dresses, part 1 by L. Besor Esther. Yesterday, we read about a story of Wanda Petronsky, who is a Polish girl and lives in Boggings Heights. She joined an American school and she was different from other girls in many ways. Her name was uncommon, she was quiet girl and had no friends. Wanda used to sit in the corner on the last but one seat of the classroom where noisy and rough boys who got low marks sat. There was a lot of dirt, mud, and scuffling of feet in that area. Peggy and Maddie were close friends. Peggy was the most liked girl of Wanda's class. Now, Peggy and Maddie realized that Wanda was absent when they were waiting for her so that they could make fun of her. They did not notice that Wanda was absent for 2 days, but on the third day, Peggy and Maddie, who missed the fun of laughing at her, waited for her and wanted to make fun of her. That day they got late for school and they realized that Wanda is absent. So what fun they wanted to make, what sort of fun they make of Wanda, we are going to read today. Let's start with the line by line explanation of the chapter. Wanda Petronsky, most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Allen. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought it was funny. That was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. So we are talking of a classroom that is 13, and we are talking about the students and students' names. We are talking that how the students had names like Thomas, Smith, and Allen, and one of the student had a name Willie Bounce, and Bounce means to jump. So Willie Bounce was also one of the funny names. But when it comes to Wanda Petronsky, it was very unusual name, a weird name, a peculiar name we can say, and students used to make fun of her. And it was not easy like the other names, the easy way to pronounce the name. Wanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. So Wanda did not have many friends or any friends in the class, and she used to come alone to school and go back alone, and she used to wear a faded blue dress, and that was not a proper fitting for her. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. Now the dress was clean, it was neat, tidy dress, but then it was not properly ironed. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Now when it comes to saying of friends, best friend or any friend you are talking to in regular terms daily, she did not had any. But then many girls used to talk to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. And certain times the girls used to surround her, especially when she used to see the little girls playing hopscotch. Hopscotch is a game in which children hop into and over squares marked on the ground. So many of you have played and still do play hopscotch. So even she enjoyed watching these little girls play, and when she used to watch these little girls play, the other girls used to surround her. Wanda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. So Peggy, who loved making fun of Wanda in a very gentle way, in a very civil way, she used to say, in a very polite way, she used to announce her name Wanda as if she was talking to her teacher, that is Miss Mason. She used to give equal amount of courtesy or civil when she used to talk to Wanda. But then this civil was not that civil. This civil was in fact more of a humiliation. It was more of a bullying for her. Wanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Nudge, that is a gentle push. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? So Peggy would do what? She surrounds Wanda with the other girls, and then she used to very politely in a gentle manner used to announce to Wanda, and while she is all in her manners trying to be courteous, the idea was to bully her, the idea was to humiliate her, and so she used to give a small push, a nudge to the other classmates, the other friends, and she used to make fun of her, asking that how many dresses you have in your closet, that is your almirah. Though Wanda used to wear a faded color dress, especially a blue one, she used to question about the dresses that Wanda is having in her almirah. 100, Wanda would say. 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. So when Peggy questions Wanda how many dresses she had, Wanda would say 100. Now the little girls who were playing hopscotch and the girls who were questioning Wanda, they would be showing their disbelief in an exclamation 100, and the little ones would stop playing to listen to the others. 100. And then the girls would say, yay, 100, all lined up, said Wanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence, and Wanda would again very strongly she would say that yes, these are 100 dresses and they are properly placed in a neat way in her cupboard, and then she would be quiet. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yea, all silk, all colors. Then Peggy would question, how are these 100 dresses? What's the material? It might not be less than a silk. It is beautiful. Silk is beautiful. So Wanda would agree, yes, all 100 are silk and they are all colors, all rainbow colors. Then Peggy would question, velvet too, that your dresses might be in velvet material also. Yes, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. And Wanda would repeat, yes, even velvet dresses I'm having. And then she would say that they are neatly placed, properly placed, lined up properly in her cupboard. Then they would let her go, and then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. And then they would allow Wanda to go, and then before she had gone further, they start laughing, and they are laughing loud. They are laughing all together, shouting and laughing all together. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Wanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So why did she say she had 100? What story? So the girls used to talk that Wanda used to wear every day. She's wearing the same faded blue dress to school. Then why is Wanda creating a story or making a story about 100 dresses? So the girls are not ready to believe Wanda when she says she has 100 dresses. They are silk, they are velvet. Girls do not like this. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. So when the girls used to question how many shoes, how many footwear you have, Wanda would say 60 pairs, and they are again placed neat and clean in her cupboard. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this, all alike. So the girls used to make fun, not realizing that this fun can harm or hurt Wanda, and very exaggerated politeness, that is false politeness. They would say all alike, that is all girls together would say that all 60 pairs are alike. Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. And then Wanda would correct that those 60 pairs are different pairs, but then they are all colors and then all are neatly placed together. Now, we have learned that Wanda used to come to school and her shoes were all caked up in mud and dirt. So when she's saying that she has 60 pairs and they're neatly placed and all colors, the girls are not able to believe her. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Wanda would move up the streets, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. So Peggy and Maddie were the last people to leave, and they are very close friends, and they are the last to leave after making fun of Wanda. And Wanda used to move the streets. She's all alone. Her eyes are dull, and she's quiet, and in an unusual manner she walks, moving her shoulder time and again, and she goes to school alone, all alone. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, "Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda?" she would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person, else why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. So Peggy was not a cruel person. She was not an unkind person, because when the little girls or the little children were bullied by anyone, she was the first to fight for them, to protect them. And when she used to see animals being mistreated, she used to stand, and she used to cry for hours. She used to stand for the animals, to protect animals, and she used to cry for hours seeing animals being mistreated. So if anybody used to question Peggy that you are being cruel in the way you treat Wanda, then she used to get surprised that, am I cruel? And she says and believes that Wanda says lie, because Wanda used to wear every day a same faded blue colored dress, a misfit. But then Wanda used to say that she has 100 dresses. So Peggy and the rest of the classmates believe that she's cooking up stories, and she says a lie. And moreover, she says that the name is also very weird. It's very unusual. It's not easy to pronounce. But then whatever the reason might be, or whatever this fun and teasing all might be, but then Peggy never made Wanda cry ever, Wanda in tears ever. As for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. So Maddie, who is Peggy's best friend, she was bothered, she was troubled, she was altogether tensed. Why? That Peggy used to question Wanda on dresses, on footwears, on hats every day, and they used to make a fun of Wanda. So this was troubling Maddie. Now why Maddie is getting troubled, though her close friend is making fun, and the girls, other classmates are also involved. So Maddie was troubled. Why? Maddie was so poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Now Maddie also belonged to a poor family, and the dresses she used to wear were also given to her by a rich class, or by let's say a charity somebody had given to her. So she used to wear old clothes handed down by someone else. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. Now the good part, or the fortunate part with Maddie, was she did not live a poor locality like Boggins Heights, and neither she had a funny name like Wanda Petronsky. So that was fortunate. She was fortunate in that. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. So when Peggy is questioning Wanda and making fun of her, trying to tease her, or making just fun for a laughter with the other classmates, asking Wanda questions on dresses, on hats, on shoes, Maddie tried to distract her attention from that fun or teasing, and she used to feel embarrassed and ashamed because she herself belonged to a poor family. So she used to distract herself from that idea of mocking and the laughter created by the girls by playing with the marbles in her palm, as she used to roll those marbles, and she was quiet. She did not get involved in making fun of Wanda. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. Now she's not actually feeling bad for Wanda, no, but then she was also not interested in Wanda at all. The interest or attention in Wanda grew only when Peggy started having a fun up regarding the dresses, the 100 dresses Wanda had. So then she realized that there is some girl named Wanda, or she belonged to Boggins Height or something. But then she was not into Wanda at all. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Now, what exactly bothered Maddie was that suppose today Wanda is a subject to humiliation when it comes to her being polished, when it comes to her being having a feared name, when it comes to her being a poor person but announcing to the world of 100 dresses, of 60 pairs of shoes. She felt today she is a subject of humiliation. Maybe next time it would be her. So this was bothering Maddie. She wasn't as poor as Wanda perhaps, but she was poor. Now her state was not as critical as Wanda, but then she was poor. Of course she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. Now she knows she has that many sense not to cook up story about 100 dresses. That Wanda is wearing the same old faded blue color dress and a misfit, but then she's telling to her classmate that she has 100 of different colors of silk and velvet. So she knows that at least I'm not going to cook a foolish story like that. But then she has this fear somewhere that she does not want to become a subject or a victim of this teasing. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky, but somewhere she had this desire, she had this hope that someday Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky.